So as we get started today, this video is divided into chapters. If you want to skip at any point, just look at the sliding bar underneath the plating window and you can see the chapters to skip ahead. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. We have an oldie but a goodie. It's using yarn that's discontinued, but there's yarns that are available on the market today that will be suitable for this. But you can also change the size of this, so if you really love this idea, you can use this in multiples of 2. So 1 2 1 2 1 2. When you're happy with the length of the chain, then you just continue to use the pattern as is. Therefore you can change the hook and the yarn to match. So this is a really neat idea, and I'm going to show you this in a 5.5 millimeter, and I'm going to use Peyton's Inspired as my choice. We have a little bit of a diagram here, but what I've done for you, and you can find this over in the Crochet Crowd, is a more professional looking one, and this is how it's gonna go. And once we get it started, it's repeating of rows number 2 through 5 all the way until you're done, and then you can finish on either row number 3 or 5. It depends depending on how much you want to go. Just keep in mind that when you use thicker yarn, there is more fiber involved, so therefore there's more cost involved. So it's a great opportunity to either have that thick blanket that you see on home deck, renovation shows, all those kind of shows, or you can go with your regular yarn and still enjoy this pattern at the same time. So without further ado, let's grab your hook of choice and your yarn of choice, and let's begin. So I'm gonna teach you a mini sample today, so I'm just gonna start with a slip knot. And you can chain, if you're doing the big yarn of a S hook, a 19 millimeter, a chain 58, or you can do multiples of 2. So you go 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So if you're happy with the length of the chain, then you can stop, and if you're doing that pattern, of course it's 58, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's begin row number 1. Let's begin row number 1 by going second chain from the hook, so just count it back, so 1 and 2, and go in the second chain and go in the back hump of the chain. It will look nicer, and you're going to single crochet. You'll chain 1, skip the next chain, and you'll go to the second over and single crochet, and then chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the next, and you're gonna do that all the way across your chain, and this will be row number 1. If your counts are right, the very last single crochet will last in the correct spot in the last chain, and I'm gonna be there in just a second, so I might as well hold, and so just skip the next one and go into the very last. So this is row number 1, and once you're at the end of the row, just turn your work, and let's begin row number 2. In row number 2, what we're going to do is chain up a total of 3. So the first 2 is counted as a half double crochet, and the third chain is a chain 1 space. I want you just to kind of look at it the way that it's going in here, and it actually makes a lot of sense. So you're just gonna start with the 2 together half double crochet, starting with the first space and the next single crochet, so the 2 legs are in 2 different spots here, and you'll do that. Chain 1, and then you go to the next space and the next single crochet and do the half double crochet 2 together, and you'll do that all the way to the very end, and this is row number 2. So let's begin row number 2. You're gonna chain 3, so 1 and 2, that's your first half double crochet, and the third chain is a chain 1 space, so don't forget that in the future. So you're just going to come into the very first space, which is right here, and the next single crochet, and those are the 2 spots you're gonna use. So it's a half double crochet 2 together, so wrap the hook, go into the space first, pull through, and now wrap the hook again and go into the single crochet that's next, and then pull through, and you'll have 5 loops on your hook. Pull through all 5, and that's a half double crochet 2 together. Now that you've done that, you're gonna chain 1 and then do it again, so the next space and the next single crochet are sharing the same half double crochet 2 together, and then pull through, and once you get that done, chain 1 and then go to the next space and the next single crochet. You get your 5 loops, pull through, and then chain 1. So you just gotta remember to chain 1 after each half double crochet 2 together. Chain 1, and so the very last one here, you're gonna come into the space before the last stitch, and then come into the last single crochet, and then pull through, and then that's it. Hold, and then that's the end of row number 2. Let's turn your work, and let's begin number 3. So row number 3, you're going to start up and you're gonna chain 1. You'll single crochet into the first 2 together, then into the next chain one space, and therefore that's when you start what you did here on the first chain. So notice that row number 5 or 3 and 5 are not the same on the way that they're started. So you chain one, skip over the next half double crochet 2 together, and then single crochet in the next space. So chain one and go into the space, and you'll do that all the way to the end. In the very end, this chain one space, there will be a single crochet there, and this last single crochet will be in the second chain that you started with. Let's begin row number 3. So let's begin row number 3. You're going to chain up one, and in the first together one, see how that is coming all together right here. See where my thumb is? This thumb. You're gonna single crochet there. That's your first stitch. Then you're gonna single crochet into the next chain one space, and therefore that's all set up for you, and now you can just jump all your way across. So chain one, jump over the next 2 together and go right into the next space and single crochet. This is like a moss or a granite stitch. So coming into the next space, chain one, next space, chain one, and eventually come all the way to the other side. And the other side here, you go into the space first, and then you're gonna come into the second chain as a single crochet. So you go right into the chain work so that it will hold, and then that's the end of row number 3. Let's turn your work and let's do number 4. In row number 4, you're going to chain up 2, and that'll be your first half double crochet, and your first 2 together will use the same stitch that's coming out of plus the next single crochet, and that's your half double crochet 2 together. Chain one, and then you are going to do what you already know. So you'll start in the first space and the next single crochet together, and then chain one and do that all the way across. So when you get to the very end here, there will be one half double crochet that's sitting on its own all by itself, and that's gonna be the end of number 4. So let's do number 4 next. Okay, let's do number 4. Chain up 2, that's your first half double crochet, and you're going to use the very first one where this is coming out of, and the next single crochet as your 2 together. So we're gonna go in, it's a 2 together half double crochet, and once you get your 5 loops, pull through all 5. Now what you have to do at this point is that you're going to chain one, and you're going to come into the next space, which is right here. Just pull it apart if you don't see it. So you use that space first, and then the next single crochet as your half double crochet 2 together, and don't forget to chain one right after it, and then start in the next space that's available to you and the next single crochet, and then pull through. So that's my cat in the background if you're hearing. She's wanting to come into the studio. So you're gonna continue to do these 2 together, and then right at the very end you're gonna have your last space there that's available and the next single crochet, and you'll put that together, and then you have 1 stitch left, and that's a half double crochet, and that will take you to the end of number 4. So turn your work and let's do number 5. So number 5, we're going to do these skipping spaces again. So we're going to chain up 1, single in the first, you're going to skip this 2 together, chain 1 and skip into, and then single crochet in the next space, and you'll do that just how you did it all the way across, and you will end up with single crocheting right into the very last chain 2 that was in the start there. So you look at it, it's different from number 3, so this will give you an indication of where you are in the pattern. Let's begin number 5. Let's begin number 5. You're gonna chain up 1 and you'll single crochet in the very first one, and then you're going to chain 1 and you're gonna skip over this 2 together and come right into this space right here, and you'll single crochet and then chain 1 and jump over these 2 togethers and just keep working in the spaces. So just make sure you chain 1 in between them. So every other row you kinda get a break on the speed. So once you come to the very end right here, you're in the last space here before the end, so you're gonna jump over the 2 together and then come into the second chain there, and that concludes then row number 5. So what you need to do at this point is that you just need to repeat 2 through 5 all over again, and you keep doing that until you get to the length that you would like for your blanket. In the case of the actual big one here, it's a total of approximately 60 inches, so it's gonna take you a while to get there. So what you can do is just start again. So let's review number 2 once again. So just recapping to get yourself restarted, just to make sure you understand, it's number 2, so you chain up 3, so that counts as your half double crochet in a chain 1 space, and therefore you start in the next space and the next single crochet as your 2 together for your half double crochet. And don't forget you have to chain 1. Okay, you're going to then come right into this next space that's available to you and do your half double crochet 2 together and using the next single crochet after that as well. So this is all you just need to do. It's a nice easy repeating pattern, and we're going to review on how to do the border next. So I'm at the end here and I'm finishing on row number 3. So you can finish on 3 or 5. It's the single crochets that skip. So if you would like to do a border on this, then you can just chain up 1 and just equally space out your single crochets going down the side. Go right into the chain work itself. Try to avoid going into major spaces, and then that will keep it nice and tight, and there's no mathematical calculations to this. This is just a matter of just eyeing it up and making it look good. So if it's buckling and it's pulling in like this, it means that you're going too quickly, and if it's starting to ruffle out, it means that you're being too slow and you need to jump further. In the corners, I recommend that we do 3 single crochets right into the same stitch, and then that will allow you to turn and give you a nice corner. And then once you're on the bottom side here, you can just work within the stitches here. Because I had you go into the back hump, the stitches will be very clearly obvious to you. So you're just gonna circle around, just evenly spacing these single crochets in, and I'll meet you at the end of here and I'll show you how to weave in off your ends. Once you come back around, you are going to want to put in some extra single crochets right in the corner so that you can fasten it. What I'm going to do for you is that I actually did film a tutorial, but it was an absolute disaster. It was an outtake, ended up being an outtake thing. So I actually did show how to weave in the big thick yarn, so I'm going to put that on this video in just a moment. But what you can do, if it was the regular size right here, you're just gonna throw this through a tapestry needle. With the bigger stuff, there is big tapestry needles. I have seen that at Michael's, and so that's something that you can decide for yourself. If you would like to use that, but I just used a crochet hook and I showed you how to do it. So that'll be just a moment for now. So just turn it to the back side. Okay, so we just came around, so turn it to the back, and if you're using regular size yarn, just weave it in and out a total of 3 times. And by weaving it in and out 3 times is that it's virtually impossible for this to come out, because the project can never stretch in 3 directions at one time. So any loose ends that you have, I recommend that for sure, because it's a usable item. And then I'm going to show you what I would do if it was the larger yarn to weave in the ends, and this is how cool this can look. So that's it, and I will put that video on right now, so just stay tuned for a second. So once you come all the way around, just slip stitch through, and what you want to do is you want to leave a long enough tail so that you can deal with it. So you're just gonna slip, and then that's it. So you're gonna cut this yarn here. So I am gonna cut it, and you're going to notice is that it's really quite fluffy. So a tip for something like this, when it's so thick, if you weave it in with this particular hook, it's going to fall out on you. So what you want to do is downgrade your hook just enough so that you can reach through and just pull things through. And what your goal is to get this woven in to the point where it gets tangled onto itself, so it never wants to fall out. So you're just gonna reach through and you want to weave it through. So usually what I would do is throw it through a tapestry needle, but this is so thick, and there is thick tapestry needles there. But you're noticing that I'm going in one direction right now. That'll fall out if I keep going like that. So what I want to do is that now that it's a fist difference away, I want to take that and now weave it back in the opposite direction. So go back in the other way. And then choose different paths, and you want to choose holes that are kind of like tighter. So don't choose gaping holes in that sense. And then if you don't think that's enough, which I don't think it is, because 3 times back and forth is usually what we weave it in as. So now that you just got a little bit left, go back in the opposite direction once again. And with it being woven in and out and through the tighter hole, the tighter areas, this should get locked onto itself. So even if you try to stretch it out, this tail should never fall out on you. Knock on wood, right? And you'll want to do that with any of the loose ends that you have. and then as soon as you're satisfied with how much you've woven it in, you can safely just trim that down. I'm just gonna come through. So if you're cheap about it, and if you look here, look how I can just pull that, so that's gonna fall out, but from there on it's pretty tight in there, so I'm going to just trim it at that point there. And so I would want to do that with the starting one that I had as well, and any of the ones that you had to do in the middle when you jumped from ball to ball, and that's what I would do. And so this is the Easy Going Crochet Blanket. You can see how much I just did just within this short time frame, and I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. So until next time, have a good one, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.